not sure exactly why I'm making this video. I think it's for myself, and also if I do post it, it's for anybody else like on this journey. This person is following me. They probably just, I don't know where they're headed, but we've made a few turns, so it's a little weird. This journey becomes like more like a prophecy, like the more I go on, because if I had known that we would be in such dire straits a year ago when I walked away from my mom, like it's these moments where you're just like, how is it this bad, that you're like, because also like I've had like weird like little flicker moments of foreseeing something, but I can't foresee things. Plus, like, even if you have a vision, it's like, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to come together, because I've had other visions for my life that have not yet happened. So, but I'm like, why didn't I feel more of a warning, or like, why, and then I see other people talking about how we're living. I'm going to try to get through this with him. How we're living in the end times, and that is how it feels, but it makes me wonder if it's just that maybe Earth in some way or another, or the stories here have always been the same. Look at the pumpkin patch. But it's just once you start to awaken and you're going on your journey with God, it just becomes this very different experience, because there's so many instances where you look back and you're like, I couldn't have done that without God, or like He got us through that, or He like plucked us out of that place of danger, and then you question like, why is it this? Why would we be put through so much? But then it's teaching you to like lean on Him, and lean and learn, and to trust the process, and not trust other people that you couldn't see those conversations or whatever intentions they may have had for you, because you realize like you're choosing this higher path, you're choosing freedom, and that means whatever circumstances that comes with. And like, I don't know, we're just in such an extreme place right now. I'm like, it's all God, like it's all whatever, like, because I've never until this past year, and with as intense as our finances have been, I've never had such a struggle trying to find work. Like that wasn't something I struggled with. And I don't know if it's my energy. I don't know if there's been a smear campaign and people don't trust me. I don't know what it is, but that's still the situation that we're in. And I'm limited on what I can do because Teddy's with me 24/7. And there's a lot of things that he's way more independent on, but there's little things like I had a whole breakdown this morning, got through it, apologized to him about it, got dressed. I'm just giving you the quick play-by-play. It's not like that matters, but like he didn't want to wear his costume, but we got downtown and I kept talking to him about how everyone's gonna be wearing them, so he's fine. He decided, it was like, okay, and he's been doing this lately. It's like just a thing for some reason, like, because we did something out, we went to a parade and he wouldn't take any of the candy, and he did the same thing today. They have a downtown where we live, a trick or treat they do before Halloween, and he wouldn't take any of the candies, so we just walked around like there were other stuff going on, and we're looking at the costumes, and but that's the type of stuff that I deal with all the time. And it's going to be one thing or another with kids, like, but that's why for me, I'm like, my experience is so, I mean, that's everybody, like, what's most important to you, but like, it just makes it more even. That's been one of the hardest parts of this, is like not having that support. And then I wanted to give an example of something else that I've experienced. It's just like there's no way of like there's no way to understand it. Is it's like my family, like I could tell right away that my mom was not on board for helping us. But then I was working and it was tough living with her, but it was like, she did help me a lot. Like, absolutely, I'll be the first to say that. Like, she helped me a lot with him. Didn't seem to hate it or be resentful about it, but I don't know. And then she booted us out at one point, and I don't want to get into too many stories. So we started living with my dad. He seemed to be same thing, like cool about it, and like even excited about it. And then I know he and Teddy kind of they didn't, like, I don't know if they got close, but like I could tell that he cherished having that. But it was like, as soon as it was time for him to leave, he had to move out, and he was helping us, afford everything at that point. So he had to move out because we had the AVA people moving in, and that was its own blessing, because my dad drinks. He was mostly there at nighttime, but it was scary for me. It was like not a healthy environment for Teddy to be in. So, it is what it is, because that's another thing that you realize. It's like, of course, there's not like, you want to do everything you can as a parent, but you just can't do it all. You can't make everything good. But we've been struggling very much financially since that point, because there are bills that I pay now, but don't have steady income, like outside of what we get for child support. So anyways, we were, there's been all this insanity with my kid behaviors and like other weird, crazy things that have happened, and all these different things are happening, and I was seeing all this stuff, and I was like, and then there was a very specific incident that was like the final straw with my mom, where she wanted me to move into a trailer on the same plot of land as her. And I'm telling you guys, she brought it up to me at least 2, if not 3 times, and then continued to throw it in my face later after I repeatedly told her absolutely no. Like, there's not even a maybe, it's a no. And this is something that's always happened. She would call and talk to other people, and they would side with her, so that she would have other people that were like, you're being ridiculous to not agree to this. My dad had a few different times had called us and talked to us, and I remember like last year, right before Christmas, he gave us a bunch of extra cash, and then he was helping me out a couple times. And then the next time that I went to see my mom, she told me about it, and then that's when the conversation got heated. And I'm very familiar. I'm not afraid of, now it is hard. Conflict becomes harder and harder. Like, you just don't want to be in it anymore. But like, I'm not afraid of conflict, so the conversation got heated, and I know that we all do that, where we don't say things we mean when you're like emotional, but it just took a weird turn. And she was even like, you need to give me all the money that you're making, and like, and you shouldn't be doing tarot because it makes you vulnerable. And it's just so weird, because it has been this really crazy situation with it that I didn't expect, because that's another thing that was just like blindsided me. And then we left, and we went over there one other time when my sister was there, and there was family there, and there was another incident where she pulled some money out of the mortgage that she said that they had to have. So it's just been like very apparent to me that I'm like, we're in a very unsafe situation. We need to do whatever we have to do to get out of here. And my life is literal, like, the different stories just keep popping up, and I'm like, we're like living the Sodom and Gomorrah story right now. And it's just wild. It's so wild, because I was gonna mention that, like, my dad had reached out to us a couple times, and one of the things he said to me is like, I'm not trying to like make you feel like you're stranded on not, like, And that's always how it was. It was like they would act like they cared or like they wanted to help, but then it was like, but you're not here, you're not showing up. My dad came over and helped because our weeds were overgrown out front, and put up the Roundup, I think is what it's called, on it to help it so that it'd be easier to pull them out. And he said he was going to come and help me with the weeds. Never came back to help with that. Again, wasn't surprised. That's very typical. And then he came over to drop some stuff off one day after after Teddy's birthday. My mom was moving, and that's when we're having all these issues. We have all these different issues with our garage, and like part of the roof has come down. And he called me after and was like, hey, like just checking in and whatever. And then, I was telling him how we were having the roof issues. So like, yeah, I probably know a guy, whatever. And then, it's nothing again. And so that's just how my life has been. And I knew when we walked away from last summer that I was like, I have to figure this out just for us. But like, regardless, like I still am living in a house that has to be maintained, and being a full-time mom, I have to play all the roles because Teddy's dad lives in Georgia. He sees him 2 to 3 times a year. It's about 3 times a year for like a few days or maybe a week. And that's how it's been since we moved away from him. And it's really the other way around, because he chose to. We were co-parenting and we were living with him in Florida, and he chose to take a job in Missouri, and now he's in Georgia and he's remarried. We were never married. He's married, with a baby on the way. So, it's just one of those, like, I'm having to like move through it daily of like the fear and the anxiety and the paranoia, or not even the paranoia, the like wanting to panic, because I currently have about like $10 in my bank account and my credit card is maxed out, and I'm posting about jobs and not able to take anything on, and people don't want to pay me for tarot, and I had all this other insanity happen with people through my email, and I'm like, this can't be real. Like, is this really what's happening? And I've just been driving this poor child, which we went and played both playgrounds today, and with him in his costume, and all the kids there loved it, and so I'm like, it was definitely worth going. But it's like, it's survival every day when you don't have a tribe, because it was so different, even just having, and I feel dumb for like letting myself pull on the wool over my eyes and stay as long as we did. But then the other part of me is like, I was still rebuilding myself after walking away from John, and like having to learn how to like be there for Teddy more and step up for him and calm my nervous system and learn how to sit and meditate and be grounded and find peace and stuff. So I'm like, I know that's I want to end on a good note, and that there's so many insane things that happen on this journey that it's like I think it's just we need hope. We have to have hope. There has to be hope, because there's a part of me that knows that this isn't the end of the story. Like, and then you look back, and there's certain things, and there's things that are still coming to me. Like, that's one of the beautiful things about, I know I'm almost done, baby. Leaning on God and learning to listen and listening within, is that as your reality shifts, you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't see that before, and God was protecting us all that time. Like, there was a truth that you're realizing that you're like, I probably couldn't have handled that then, because there were other, like, when I was working, it was a whole, like, my life was not peaceful. It was definitely chaotic. And I mean, there's always the chaos. It's like you have to find you have to work with the chaos to find the peace. I mean, that's how it's been for me. But anyway, that's the blessing, is that God's like, okay, but you can breathe out now in your body and feel safe, and like I've given you that, and like I've helped you to get through these times where you couldn't see that this person wanted to sabotage you or whatever it is. Like, there's so much that came to me last night. I was like, there's so much that we just don't see, and it's so hard, because especially as a parent, 'cause that's what I mean. I'm like, it's so painful to know that you're not able, that I'm having mental breakdowns, and that like I'm not this perfect parent, or not even a perfect parent, but it's like, you know, that all this is put on me, and that yet like I have no idea the answers to how our financial issues now. Like I never would have imagined that this is what we'd be experiencing, and that, you know, that I don't even know all the reasons why yet. Or and I know too that like leaning on the wrong people, like that's what I mean. Like it's like, but, and yet at the same time, it's like God is still carrying us through this, and you know, it just makes you appreciate the small things, and then you're like, you know, money's not everything. Like it's one of those weird things of like, now I've learned like how important and what type of security it brings, like for me to not get into panic mode. I mean, it brings a sense of security, and like it gives you freedom and options and all of that, but at the same time, it's not everything, and just slaving for money is not what I want to do either. Like I want to work from a heart-centered place, and like serve from love, and give from that space, and be around the people that are nurturing, and like that can bring that same energy. So I don't know, guys, you just don't get all the answers, but it takes all your courage, and then when you come back to that safe space and that place of peace, it's like, right, we can take some more breaths, we can take some more steps forward. It's like we're living in a time, I gotta wrap this up. It's like we're living in a time that is like, there are immense repercussions for linking arms with the wrong people. Or it might just be like, once you're starting to awaken, that it's like you can't play that anymore. Like you get like massive karma for that. Because I don't know, I don't have any other answers. Okay. The light is within, that's for sure. All right, I love you guys. Take care of yourselves, okay?